Okay, how old are you?
I turned 80 a couple of days ago.
That's right, 80 years old.
Yeah,
The big 80. Did you have a big party at the house?
we're gonna have one Saturday. This
Okay.
Saturday. Yeah.
Well, okay, while we get started, let me ask you, what were the very best bits of your life that you remember? What were the happiest moments for you?
Well, outside of my family, fishing,
Yeah.
uh, going to Arkansas. Uh, I'm pretty simple in a lot of ways, and it doesn't take much to entertain me. Uh, I am selfish in a lot of ways,
Aren't we all?
also, but mainly, what was the question again?
What were the very best bits of your life? So you said besides your family, what about your family? Tell me about them.
Well, they're very dear to me. I'm glad I had the mother and dad I had. They don't tell me where I'd be otherwise.
Yeah.
And the wife I've got puts up with a lot, even today. And the daughters and their husbands and the grandchildren, great-grandchildren. That's one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were some of the proudest moments of your life?
Well, I don't know if you could call it proudest, but I used to, on Sunday morning, pick up 6 to 8 grandkids and take them and feed them and bring them to church. And we did the bus together, and all of them rode with me. And I look forward to Sunday morning. Them kids would get up about 6 in the morning on Sunday morning, and we'd be together till noon that day
Yeah.
to church. That's a very fond memory.
What about things that you're least proud of? Typically, those happened in your younger days, but
Well, I still make mistakes today that I wish that I thought about it a little bit longer before I did it. But I'm a type of person that when I decide to do something, I want to get it done right now.
yeah,
And a lot of times it gets me in trouble because I don't like to have to think about anything that I've got to remember. Just like working. I've always been a mechanic, and if I've got something tore up in the evening about quitting time, I would stay till I got it finished so I wouldn't have to think about it all night long.
yeah. Well, what is something that most people don't know about you?
I think I'm an open book, really. I like to ride and drive, and I love to visit with people about the Lord. I may not act like it's a lot, but as far as something that they don't know about me, I'm pretty much an open book.
Yeah. What special memories do you have about your parents or your grandparents? And
Well, my mother and dad, I know Sunday and Wednesday, I had no question where I was going to be at certain times on those 2 days. So it was a waste of time to try to beg off of it. And Mom and Dad were very tender-hearted after I got older. I didn't think of them being tender-hearted when I was younger. And the example that they set, I didn't get to know my mother's side of her dad and mother that well. But Dad's dad was a great example to me also.
What was the worst thing you got in trouble for as a child?
Well, that's all worst. Doing a lot of stuff I'm not supposed to do and I was told not to do.
Yeah.
And I finally got smart enough to back off from some of it.
Yeah.
It cost me a lot of pain.
Yeah. So you grew up here in Borger, but you were born in Arkansas?
Yeah, the first 10 years of my life was in Arkansas, and the rest of it been here in Borger.
Tell me about your first car. What was your first car?
Well, I saved for about a year. It was a 1947 Chevrolet, an old green one. It was a work car for a man that lived around the corner from us. And Dad went and talked to him about it. He kept his car clean. And I gave $150 for it, and drove it for about 3 years.
What about your favorite car you've ever had?
It was a 1960 Chevrolet and a 1964 GTO were my two favorites.
Yeah, I can understand why. Bet those were fun.
Yeah, they were muscle cars.
Okay, how did you decide on a career?
I think it decided on me. I worked in that tire business I went to work when I was 11 or 12. And I was there long enough to sell the business and the building and retire, and I had a couple of jobs in between. I worked for Phillips for about 5 years and Agrium about 5 years. The rest of the time been on that corner.
Mm-hmm.
I had about 60-something years on that corner.
Wow. Wow. If you could have had a different career, now looking back, would you have, and what would it have been?
Well, when I was a kid and in high school, my dream was being a Navy jet pilot.
Oh.
But I didn't have enough brains to do that.
What were you like as a child?
Ornery.
So the same.
I like to pick at people, irritate them,
Yeah.
and I got good at it.
Yeah. Can you tell me, how'd you meet Winnie?
Well, I failed biology my sophomore year. My senior year, I was in the biology class to make it up so I could graduate. And I was sitting in there, and she came in, and she was pretty defiant to the teacher. And
No.
yeah, and anyway, that today it's just like it happened right now. It's in my memory,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know at the time that we'd be married anywhere down the road, but she caught my eye then.
What made you ask her out for the first time?
Well, we kind of got thrown together. She came to church at Gateway with her friend, and we all went out to get coats and kind of got paired off. And she wished she hadn't got paired off with me.
I doubt that. What were you like back then in your late teens, early 20s?
Well, it's pretty ornery.
Still ornery, huh?
Yeah, I do things I knew I shouldn't do, but I did anyway, and I paid the price. But probably do everything about the same. Maybe try to clean some of it up.
Yeah. Well, speaking about your family, after you married Winnie, you had kids. Tell me about maybe some of the best times of having kids, or your favorite family vacation, or things like that.
Well, the main thing I recall from it was what I was taught by the kids, what I learned from the kids, and how Winnie and I functioned together. We always, when we first got married, we talked about if we had children, that what one of us said, the other would back up. And I remember that, and it seemed to work real well. And I bought the girls some rings, and I took them fishing, and Lisa lost hers in the lake.
Oh.
And I got in trouble when I got home.
I bet you did.
But I don't remember ever doing anything that they wasn't along with us. Occasionally we'd go to take a night out, just Winnie and I, but most of the time we were just a family.
Yeah. Is there anything you regret not doing?
I know this sounds, I don't know, not silly, but memorizing the Bible, I wish I could have done that.
Memorize more of the Bible, more scripture.
The application of my personal self in deeper study. Of course, all that I know now and what I don't know, I'll find out in eternity. And that's really what staggers me about the scriptures is Christ died on the cross, and the people that killed him, he forgave them. I'm still working on wrapping my head around that. And I get mad at people, and I have no right to.
Yeah, he sets a pretty big example to follow, doesn't he?
You kidding?
Some big shoes to walk in.
Yeah.
Tell me about your conversion experience. When did you become a Christian?
I think I was 11 or 12. But that day is highlighted in my memory right now. I remember that day like it was today. It was at Gateway, and Foster Ramsey was the preacher. And there was two other guys went forward with me. We all were baptized at the same time. And
How old were you then?
11, I believe. And it was a glorious day. I'll never forget it.
What was it that pulled you towards God in that time?
The love of the Lord, the way that Foster taught the lesson that day. I can't tell you what it was about now.
Something about the gospel, sounds like.
Yeah, and it was just a very special day.
Yeah. Well, what's one of your favorite books of the Bible, or it doesn't have to be a whole book, it can be a favorite story or a favorite verse, or what's one of your favorite things?
Well, Isaiah is my favorite book.
Isaiah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why?
Because of the scripture relation it's got before it happened and how it was going to happen and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It just stands out in my mind.
I already asked that question. Okay. Is there anything that you did do that you kind of wish you could take it back?
Quite a bit of stuff. My mouth's my worst enemy, and I'm short-fused on a lot of things. I'm without patience with people. I wish I could have. The wife taught me a lot of patience, but I wish I'd been more patient with more people.
Yeah. What are you most afraid of in life?
In life, my family walking away from the Lord. That's all that bothers me.
Okay. Yeah. What role has your faith played here closer to the end of your life? You know, you're not gone yet, and hopefully you will keep you for a while longer. But how has your spiritual walk affected these last decade of your life?
Well, I still lose my temper occasionally, and I'm still working on patience. But you can't make me mad anymore. You can aggravate me. Anybody, I mean, not Jews especially, but I don't have no regret. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Lord and all this stuff in the Bible, being able to see the what fors and whys, and it's I can't imagine the things that the Lord knows that I don't have a clue about. I think I'm smart in things, but come to find out, I don't know anything.
Over the years, what has become more and more important in your spiritual life, and what are some of the things that have become less and less important with with spiritual eyes?
Well, I'm not enthused about material things like I used to be. Now, don't get me wrong, I still buy a lot of stuff, but it's not necessary. I just see people quarreling, and I don't understand why, because life's so short. It's a lot shorter now than it was when I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, any of us don't have tomorrow promised to us. And watch my fellow brothers and sisters at church, how they live their lives and stuff. It's been a pleasure. I wished I had a lot more of it to go. I'm kind of hung up. I want to stay, but I want to go. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And main thing in my life, at this stage of my life, is that the people I came in contact with, I'll see them again in heaven. I hope I influenced them to that direction.
If you had some famous last words, as they say, what would that be?
Well, like I told you at the start, pretty much is look at Jesus Christ and what he went through, and yet he had no animosity, or he wasn't mad at them or nothing. He died for them, and they killed him. I still, like I told you earlier, I still work on that, thinking about that every day.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I get mad or angry with anybody for anything?
What would you say to the family that you're leaving behind about spirituality, about faith? Is there anything that you want to pass on to other people that you want to make sure that they know? Is there any advice you'd like to leave behind?
Yeah. Pick up the Bible daily, open it up, read it, and then study what you just read for a better understanding that it will touch your heart and cause you to follow the Lord very closely. And get on your knees regularly, because life's short and family is the love of your life. And treat each other fairly. Care for each other truly. Don't just say I do, but do it.
Thank you, Kay. I really appreciate you doing this, and I know that your family's going to treasure this for a long time.
Well, I love them. All of you.
Made me want to give you a hug. You're a
Thank you,
good
sir.
man. Thank you.